I have a new single out. Yes, clicky bits down below. Take a look. There's a hyperfollow DistroKid page which will take you to Bandcamp and Apple Music and Spotify and all my other links and my social media and all sorts of stuff. It's all there in the clicky bits below. Got no idea what I'm talking about? Well, g'day. I'm Keeonra from Keeonra Music, and welcome to this video. This is going to be different than most of Songtember's videos. There you go, Songtember. People are still, and I know that Ron, g'day Ron, I'm going to be back on watching your shows real soon. I've been really busy, as you might have seen, but I know Ron's working on his song, trying to get it finished, and there's so many others in the community trying to get their Songtember finished. Don't stress, okay? Don't stress. The point is just to get it finished, okay? Just get it finished, take a breath, be calm, it's okay. All right? It's going to be fine. You can do it. You can do it. You just need someone to believe in you. And look, I've got an amazing community believing in me. I just can't believe how great this community is in supporting one another and how wonderful it's been. In saying that, this video is all about music psychology. I was very fortunate today, and that's why this video is a little bit late. It's been a long day for me, and to be honest, I had to go have a cup of tea and a lie down afterwards. I did have a little nap. So it was required, and we need to look after ourselves physically and mentally, so that's a good thing. So I attended AMPS. No, not guitar amps, as the Lonely Rocker would have you believe that's the only amps that matter. G'day, Dan, how you going? But no, it's AMPS, the Australian Music and Psychology Society. Interesting group. Didn't even know it existed while I was studying my psychology degree. Didn't know music psychology existed. But I am really excited about researching this further and providing YouTube videos for you, musicians, indie musicians, singers, songwriters, whomever might be interested in watching these videos, and how this information and current research can help us as musicians, as songwriters, in our day-to-day creativity, what it means to us as far as how we create music, how we listen to music, how we manage our mental health, how we can live our lives as musicians and performers, etc. So I'm very excited. I'm about to give you a really quick wrap up of the sessions that I attended. So I didn't get to see everything. It was broken up into different sessions. I attended those which I thought would pertain to the indie music community, and for myself also as a singer, performer, now recording artist. Clicky bits below. While you're there, like and subscribe and ring the cowbell. You know you want to. Been a while since I mentioned the cowbell. Did you listen out for my cowbell in my song? You haven't? Take a look right at the end. You have to listen to the whole thing. And you can be notified if you ring the cowbell about my future videos, because I tell you what, the content of today and the caliber of presentations and researchers absolutely blown away today. Amazing work that is being done. And the speakers weren't only from Australia, they were from all over the world. They'd gotten out of bed at really weird times and should not be allowed unless there's lots of coffee involved. I'm just going to give you a rundown of the highlights in no particular order. Well, actually, they're in the order of chronological order of time because I took lots of notes. But I want to be able to explore this further in my future videos if you're interested. If you're not, that's okay. But still subscribe, and then you just see the other ones, because I do plan on doing a live show every week of using Cakewalk and my current project and just chatting live with you guys and saying g'day. That'll be awesome. Or you can catch a replay and see how I still not cake stumble. That's the produce aisle. Hi, Lorraine. See, I'm saying hi to everyone. It's just so good to be part of this community. And shout out to Jade, my friend. Bless. She played my song on her show today. It was wonderful. I feel so warm fuzzies. Now, that could be taken the wrong, especially with the clicky bits, but we won't go there. So, look, just some highlights. There will be more videos coming for Rocktober, which will be focusing on rock music and production of a rock song and video for Rocktober. Follow Jade's link in the description below, as well as finishing up Songtember and getting your Songtember on Pete's Studio Live Today show. There's so much. It's been busy. All right, so AMPS, Australian Music and Psychology Society. Got to get that right. So covered things like musicians, well-being, a topic we talk about so much in this community. I wasn't aware of the numbers, but musicians as a whole are in the top 5 occupational groups as far as risk factors for mental health issues. Are we surprised? Not really. No, not really. And how does the psychological impact affect our physical well-being? Also, the financial side of things, the whole boom bust thing, especially anyone that used to do busking and live performance before COVID. And, you know, there was a tiny bit of money beforehand and no money afterwards, and possibly not too much now. I know that, you know, I've never made money from performing, only from teaching. There's a saying about that. Don't go there. I'm not too bad. Okay. Anyway, I continue. Performance-related problems as far as physical and psychological well-being is concerned, and how psychological flexibility can assist in all of that, which I was so happy to hear about because the speaker referred to ACT, which is acceptance and commitment therapy or acceptance and commitment coaching. Now, I'm an ACT practitioner. I've done so much training in ACT, absolutely live by it day by day. I will go into that in way more detail in coming weeks and months because it is my passion about how that changed my life, like totally changed my life. And I really want to share that with you. Then we moved on to the use of virtual reality for managing performance anxiety, which is something that I know a lot of live performers and myself as a teacher, I've used trying to visualization techniques and exercises to help people. You know, nerves, it happens, but when does nerves become an impact where it starts to be debilitating and starts to become a performance-related problem where it's just too much? Oh, and one of those performance-related problems, ironic, hearing problems. I've spent years sitting behind the percussion in the orchestra. Yes, so does have an impact. Sorry? Anyway, bad joke. All right. Nature versus nurture. There was an interesting research being done, a twin study, which is often done in psychological studies, regarding nature versus nurture as far as, and you might relate to this, who out there comes from a musical family? Yeah, my parents were musicians, or, you know, my grandparents or aunt and uncle were great influences. Is it nature? Is it nurture? Have we got a musician gene? Interesting stuff. Also, choir singing, the sense of belonging and well-being for international students. We all need a sense of belonging. We all need a sense of well-being. That's part of our community in indie music, etc., and the wider community. We need that. That's what makes us human. So interesting. The value of listening to music with regards to the listener's well-being and how listeners relate. And I did actually ask the speaker this question because I was thinking of you guys and how all of this can relate to this cohort or group, if you like, of people rather than just those who are university music students going to the conservatory. There's a lot of other musicians out there in their home recording studios that are going through similar stuff. Yeah. But we're not being surveyed. We're not in the academia limelight, perhaps. So I felt a little bit honoured, perhaps, to almost be representing everyone here to say, hey, what about this? And hey, how does that research translate to this group? Or how can this be something that helps this group of people in this circumstance? So that was kind of cool. So yeah, I was really happy, really excited. That was good. That was good. Yep. Okay. So the next one was impacts of managing performance anxiety. And I've dealt with this with live singing on stage for many, many years. How do you manage that? Is there something that should be introduced in education for young kids, young adults? But hey, how does that translate for, I know a lot of people in the community, when they hit that record button, you freeze. So that there are techniques and tools, and I do know most of them, and you might know some yourself. We can share that around. It's a real thing, and we shouldn't stress so much, because when we're relaxed, we actually perform a lot better. So that's really cool. The magnitude of applause, and should we have a renter crowd? How do we react to applause for those who are able to do live performing? But I instantly thought of Jade Starr and her applause button as she plays. And I thought, yeah, well, that makes sense. And as a performer on live stage, standing ovation, wow, the best performance of my life. Probably not. But I react, and the audience reacts in a cyclical manner to that group think of the audience of, well, if one person stands up and applauds, then it must be amazing. So interesting. And then how does that translate to us in a home studio, contacting people in social media and through cameras and on YouTube and stuff? Interesting. I'm going to be following all of this research going forward in the future. As I say, weeks, months, so much to do. I'm excited. Psychological flow. I'm going to put a link. If I can do it, it'll be here. Here we go. I'm getting better at the pointing. I'll put a link here to my previous video that I did on go with the flow or take a break. This was a slightly different study, but same sort of theme about, creativity and having that psychological flow to be able to create at your best. Self-esteem in musicians, there's a big one. Gender bias in orchestras pertaining to auditions, but also gender bias in musicians generally. There was also, I think it was that one that was done. I can't remember now. I've taken a whole heap of other notes. But there was one regarding people's reactions when a male played a harpist versus a female playing a harpist. And also there's a view that anyway, there's more stuff. I'm going to go into more. There's like each of these is a YouTube video coming soon to my YouTube channel. So lots and lots of things. Concert preparation. You can visualize and prepare going to the concert hall, getting to the concert hall, and mainly going on stage, but no one prepares you for the green room, which is terrifying in itself because it's like a overgrown toilet 9 times out of 10, or a tent out the back, or as a lot of you in the community have performed in pubs, there is no green room. It's just the corner of the bar over there. And that environment can create more anxiety than actually performing itself. So that's an interesting study. And then how, in all of these studies, how then can we What can we use? What tools are there to use from a psychological perspective to be able to help people in managing that? That's what it's all about. What else was there? Non-Western musical instruments and how that nurtures intercultural understanding. Very interesting how being taught different cultural instruments can allows people to have a better understanding of that culture. My question was then, does that translate when people like home recording people use non-Western cultural virtual instruments in our music making? Does that mean that we are a little bit, just a tiny bit, more culturally accepting of others? Interesting question. I don't have the answer. I may not have the answer to all this. It's just interesting. And in the future videos, there'll be lots more clicky bits. And then developing musical interventions for older adults. This was looking at how we can improve cognition in those with Alzheimer's and older adults using, here's the key word for Jade, Starr and Pete Johns, an app, and how that can help older people to improve their cognition functionality. I then posed the question, I asked lots of questions. I then posed the question to the speaker, and most of these people were psychologists, clinical psychologists. They're doing their masters or PhDs. They were based at universities around Australia and around the world. But I asked this question of how can that app then be translated for general use, and it will be made for general use, so I will keep you up to date, Jade, on how you can improve pitch, which I think is, something we can all do. Practice makes progress. I'm remembering. Practice makes progress. The app was initially, I think it was Sydney University. I might be wrong. So much content today. It was brilliant. So I think it was Sydney University. But again, I will full details in upcoming videos, and I'll go into detail when I get the research and follow what's going on. Maybe months till all this comes out, but I will do my bit to find out more. I didn't quite understand all of it, but I think it's about hearing the pitch and then you try and match the pitch, and then it's gamified. So they've gamified the app so you actually can follow it, which, in a simplified version for older adults with perhaps Alzheimer's and that sort of thing. But they did find from the research it did actually improve cognition, which is a good thing. Then I asked the question, can that be implemented for younger people in an educational circumstance? And they believe that may be the case. So, for me as a singing teacher, that is really important. Do you know why? Because I have taught those who are what most people say is tone deaf, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it is all about creating new neural pathways in order to be doing something different you've never done before, or your brain's just not practiced to. So, that whole practice thing is very, very true and very real. But it also ties into the nature nurture side of things with regards to, have you got a musician gene that makes you more likely to be able to sing better or play guitar or whatever because you're that way inclined, or is it a nurture thing? Look, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. This was my first AMPS conference, not guitar AMPS, Australian Australian Music and Psych. I'm very tired. Australian Music and Psychology Society. It was great. It was so good. And next year's is in Melbourne. Not sure if that will be a totally virtual conference like today was, or people will be able to go there. I'm thinking about it. Might go to Melbourne. Maybe. It would be worth it. It would be so worth it. So, look, there's a quick wrap up. Look, my videos, honestly, when I say quick, they're not quick. Are they really? That's it from me. Has it got anything to do with Songtember? Probably not. But that's what I did for today in Songtember because I think it's very important that we all look after our mental health, and I am very happy to be able to bring my knowledge and expertise of psychology and mental health as a mental health professional into this community to be able to share my story, my experience, and my knowledge with others, that it may help someone. Don't care. One person. That's all I want. I just, if I can help one person, then my years and years of study and work is worth it, because you're worth it. I'm worth it. We're all worth it. And that's important. So on that happy note, until then and a bit more, don't forget the clicky bits. Yes, I have a song out you can check out, and it's the top one. I'm going to take, it's going to be the top link in the description, the clicky bits, and the like and the subscribe. And I'm going now. Just music psychology. There'll be more. Subscribe. Do it. There's other videos here. It's my face gone again. It's usually around here. Bye.